for sure. We've only seen Lwx play Senna once. I think I'd much prefer the Varus come out. Me and you talked about this in our last cast, and I think Varus is a very underappreciated pick for, again, the amount of versatility he brings inside of a comp with his ability to build. Very strong in laning phase, but it looks like FPX going to bring out this duo for the second time this split.
I think Doinb's even doing some light bullying towards Lwx. Like, yeah, you're going to be fasting Senna? You want to be fasting Senna? Okay, here you go. Kind of grins as he hands that one away. So, a pretty safe bottom lane as we all expect. It's a bit boring, ladies and gentlemen, but trust me, drafts are going to get interesting. As EDG, you mentioned, it's jungle pick here, Lyric, to make sure they don't get banned away. Or strength in the mid lane? No. Pair comes out in the end.
Yeah, I think that would be too risky for EDG to do, right? You pick up a mid laner, both of those junglers get banned out. You don't really have too many options left on the table. The thing I'm most surprised about going towards the Senna Tahm Kench is it signals that FPX are going to probably play a bit more towards top side. Sure, we do see Senna Tahm Kench play a bit more aggressively here in the LPL than we do worldwide, but for EDG, they are going to be able to get what we would expect to be that top lane counter pick coming out for Flandre.
That'll be big, right? It puts Flandre in a very different position. Remember, EDG in the past, mid-bot, that's what they've largely been about as well. So, could change the dynamic going into game number 2, where FPX are batting away some of the safe mid laners that they expect Scout to be going on for this game.
Yeah, and if FPX don't ban out the Orianna, I think I will be massively surprised. It's just been the obviously best blind pick mid laner all season long. It's Scout's most played champion as well. I think beyond that, if we wanted to see some more aggressive early prio coming out, he could always go back towards that Zoe that he did already highlight. But again, I think Orianna's the first pick that comes to mind as of now.
As Renekton gets banned away, doesn't get banned, you mentioned. So let's see if the Ori is picked up for Scout. Otherwise, options like Sylas we've seen before. But again, you know, blind picking Sylas, I think you told me, Hysterix, it's not exceptional. So we'll just go for the safety here for EDG.
I mean, we saw what happened. Despite EDG winning their last series, right? We saw Scout blind pick the Sylas fall 20 assists behind Knight in laning phase both times. So, you know, again, I'd say it's not preferred, but it's not unplayable as they did win out that game. Now for FPX, to me, it's a big question mark of what Doinb picks. We've actually seen Doinb pick up the Kled in this situation before, but you don't have an AP jungler. I feel like you're going to be very scarce for AP options in this matchup. And they lock in the Sett, which we need to remember is a flex pick between Doinb and Nuguri.
Yeah, it is. But let's find out what's actually going towards the, you know, the last solo lane, right? If there's a flex Sett, you have the Akali. Remember, this can be played top as well, Lyric. So I like this from FPX. They're rounding out the draft without giving away too much information to EDG.
And the thing is, both Nuguri and Doinb have been practicing this champion in solo queue recently. So again, I think it's like they're very conscious that this is a flex. They're trying to say, hey, EDG, you don't know what we are going to do. I would expect Nuguri to be the one to pick up the Akali, just, you know, by the types of players that him and Doinb are. But I honestly don't think either matchup is horrible for either, right? We expect Orianna to be able to get early prio against the Akali if Doinb does decide to pilot this champion, right? He's going to be waiting to come on at that level 6 mark and once again provide kill threat a lot like Scout did last game, right? Linking up with your jungle, having that assassination and flanking potential later on in fights. And if Sett decided to go mid, Sett against Orianna, Sett against Gragas, you're just pushing waves, brother. You're just pushing waves.
That's right. You don't really die. You just push and leave, and you become a threat towards wherever you can't see him. So, Lyric, 23 seconds. We're just going to find out. You said it doesn't matter too much, but I want to know who's playing it, and it is Doinb on the Akali mid. So people are going to be saying, hey, you know, Doinb, another champion that we have to watch out for. Again, the flexibility of this player is something we talk about every single season. And the Akali, it's something you want to see get rolling.
It definitely is. Has gotten a few changes, you know, on this patch. It is a bit weaker in the early game, but is much stronger later on. Yeah. Again, it doesn't scream to me a champion that Doinb would be known for, a champion that Doinb would excel on, but it gives him some side lane threat, and it gives him that flanking and assassination potential later on. And for the fact is, we did see FPX have really great warding in Game 1, so if they can replicate that, if they can stem a bit of the bleeding that they faced in that first game, I think they're going to be positioned well going into mid-game.
Hopefully make this a competitive series. Game number 1, FPX had the chance to stall it out, but around Baron, EDG took the fight and blew them out of the water. Now we go into a game number 2. Doinb on the Akali here. And look, for EDG, you're saying it's a normal comp for EDG. It's nothing special. But at the very least, EDG right now looking like a very special team. They're a team that are 2 games away from making the grand final after 1,083 days. A fun little fact for everyone out there, 7 appearances in the history of EDG's organization in an LPL grand final, with 5 championships obtained. That's right, 7 appearances, 5 champions. That's a pretty good hit rate, Lyric.
It definitely is, and, you know, we're gonna see a more stock and standard EDG than what we saw last game. I think Scout is a phenomenal flanker, phenomenal assassin and bruiser player, but gonna go back to this control mage, gonna go back to a more traditional front-to-back teamfight style. Roles are gonna reverse. We're gonna see FPX want to put more pressure up towards the top side of the map. And I did check the stats. Doinb has played this champion 5 times in his career. He's 1-4 on the champion, so
oh no,
at least if you're going by those stats, it doesn't bode too well. We do see him pick up the fleet footwork because, as we stated, Akali's always been a champion that in the early laning phase hasn't been too good. She did receive some changes on this patch, lost some base health, got some HP growth. Her W now increases for her max energy by 80 like permanently, so there are some good options there later on though. So gonna be interesting to see how Doinb navigates his champion.
Yeah, it really is, considering that we saw in game number 1, it was Jiejie who was focusing a lot around Scout, and Doinb absorbed the pressure of the lane. Let's see if the dynamics change, because for now, Tian is pathing all the way towards the top side after going for his Krugs. Looks like the full clear here from the Hecarim, while it is the same for Jiejie, but opposite sides of the map where he will look towards the bottom side. But Lyric, I want to talk more about these compositions and how FPX might interact, because with Akali, we often talk about side lanes. We often talk about using vision to gain an advantage. It does feel like Doinb is going to be the one we look towards with teleport in hand.
That's the thing, right? It'd be nice if at the level 6 mark we can see Tian try to punish Scout in the mid lane. Even if you don't find a kill, at least burn the flash. And then potentially Viper, though, Wing in.
Yeah, going in. He's going to get punished for this.
Oh,
it's level
God.
1 versus level 2. The flash burn and the cleanse. They're still level 1. Lwx walking at him. He now hits 2. He flashes into the brush. And that was just not Viper's move. As Meiko now left out, he remounts to get the slow up. But Crisp follows him, licks him one more time, and that just goes to show you Tahm Kench is a beast, even at a level disadvantage.
And you said it, it just was not Viper's move, because they are the ones who initiated that, just not respecting, you know, Crisp and Lwx's damage output. We see him getting the stacks down onto Viper, forcing out the cleanse and the flash. They are still able to finish off that kill. And I feel like this feels great for the side of FPX. When we highlighted, hey, they're probably not going to be the team that plays around their bot side. They definitely want to play more around top. We see the rocket jump come out. They're just a bit too close to turret. He does take a lot of punishment as well. Not able to abuse the fact that they have that, you know, large minion wave coming in as well. At this point, Lwx just able to easily follow this one up, walks forward, gets the auto, they finish off that kill.
Unbench the Kench, baby. You know, it was a Viper mistake. Let's be realistic. But also, Tahm Kench's damage early is so abusive. So I just love watching that little replay. Giving the first kill over to Lwx, the first blood. He has a pickaxe, Lyric. There is a pickaxe in this lane. And this is meant to be a pretty calm lane phase.
And that might change the dynamic of what FPX do. Because going back to my point earlier, I was expecting, okay, Tian plays a bit around mid, burns a flash, gets prio for Doinb in the mid lane, and then maybe you start setting up some dives top, because you have Sett, he's a phenomenal diver, right? You go in, you can tank the turret with your Haymaker as well. You have a lot of kill threat on that side. You start opening up side lane turrets, getting those elongated side lanes, and then giving Doinb a place he can thrive. But now with an item advantage in bot side, I feel like this opens up more options for Tian if EDG's bot lane are going to play over aggressive, especially with no summoners on Viper.
And we have to remember that Lwx and Chris add an extra layer as well, right? This bottom lane has global potential, so if you're talking about a fed 2v2, they can influence the other lanes from their perspective, even without jungle intervention.
Well, and that's exactly why you would expect FPX to look for these plays around mid, you know, maybe have Tahm Kench hover over, unlock Doinb from lane, make that dive top, the Dawning Shadows comes out from Lwx, opening up side lanes, playing for Rift Heralds and accelerating gold, and then it's all about the threat that Doinb can put on backlines, on these immobile carries like the Orianna. Another thing for Nuguri that I think feels a lot better this game is since EDG do want to play a front to back, and I feel like that's where Sett thrives a lot better. He also has tankier targets to pick from with the Volibear coming out to look for that showstopper and prevent members from EDG to coming on their team. And it also gives Doinb a dive buddy when he does go in onto EDG's backline.
That's right, and you know, Tian will be sure to follow up or at least be one of the first people in alongside them too. So it's exciting to look at the prospects of an FPX fight. They are back onto the Rift doing the Dragon now. Jiejie spotted this out. I'm not sure though. Bear versus Frog. As the Animal Kingdom kind of fights it out, looks like FPX want to turn it around after getting the Dragon. EDG pay that respect, and first objective will go over to FunPlus Phoenix, who have a 700 gold lead at 6 minutes in the game.
And I like that you highlight that Tian's going to be part of that dive-in if it does happen later on for FPX, because I really think Tian has looked phenomenal on this champion. I really think FPX had one game that stands out in my mind. It was the game against JDG, where JDG all-in on their Jinx for Loken, where they had the 4 members of FPX bait Baron, while Tian was the one waiting outside the Baron pit on the flank. It's something that JDG would never expect, and he just did such a great job of starting that fight. So, although...
Yeah, this is turning into a bit
Actually,
of a
this might backfire. This might backfire, Hysterics.
Yeah, he's gone a little bit deep. Flandre flashes away, and Doinb's now up here saying, bro, what do we do from here? Nuguri's used the Haymaker already as Jiejie's running on in. Scout has the Shockwave. Scout has the Shockwave. He uses it and catches Doinb as well as killing Nuguri. Out with the Shuriken flip, and Tian has to recover the situation. The Assassin's Mark over the wall. Doinb's already out of the fight. Tian to clean it up. One more from Scout. He has the spin, but the movement speed from Dissonance gets him out to safety, and EDG slap back when FPX go in their face.
The plays we're talking about for FPX don't matter if they're not able to find the advantages. Nuguri just going a bit too far with that showstopper, in my opinion. It doesn't even matter that Flandre flashed. I don't think they would have been able to kill Flandre regardless. Scout was already keeping up. Jiejie was already waiting in the wings as well. They catch Nuguri with his pants down, as we are going to see in the replay. Again, flashes in for the showstopper. Flandre also flashed in, so maybe the flash was all right. He actually could have gone down with how close the FPX members were. They look for this turn. We need to keep our eye on Jiejie. Flashes in the ball carrier. Scout gets the nice shockwave. And then Doinb plays this pretty well. He gets Scout really low with Tian. Flashes out in the end. But sadly, Tian then isn't able to finish off this kill. And it is a 2-0 for EDG.
Now we go back to the bottom lane. Look at the damage coming out. More trading there, but not fighting. As EDG have something back in this early game after it went so wrong in the bottom side. And Lyric, now that these solo lanes are in a better position, right? We already saw Gragas fall down in CS, but we know that Flandre in this position, we know that Scout in this position can do a lot of work. So it does feel like EDG have an equal path to play through. As Jiejie's now in the bottom lane. That's an all-in. Crisp flashing away. There goes Meiko. That's a 2-man crash down. He'll pick up the kill as Viper gets the reset, jumps back out. And all of a sudden, EDG, the tempo is in their favor.
That's the thing. Nice play. I think initially when EDG jumped in, they actually weren't able to land the stun for the E. But like you said, really nice crash down coming out from Meiko. Jiejie able to follow it up with his ultimate as well. And this is what feels really good for EDG, right? Is initially we saw this weird thing where both teams ended up losing and making mistakes on their strong side. But now EDG not only find those kills in top side, they're now pushing their bot lane advantage forward that they should have had from early on.
I just want to also note that it feels bad if you're a mid laner who just watched that blue exchange. Tian took it with W, or at least burn from red buff in the end. So Doinb doesn't have the blue buff, which means he's going to go down on energy, but Tian is able to take this a little bit faster, as Herald will go down here. And Lyric, I want to talk a little bit more about what Tian can do, because he's hightailing at top.
It goes back to, the win conditions we set up earlier in the game, is that this would be a topside-oriented game coming out from FPX. You have Akali in your mid lane, you have such a good diver and set up topside, you have the Dawning Shadows able to come out.
And you're trying to set up
Flandre
Doinb.
might be dead, he has no flash.
I mean, there's the perfect execution. Give the kill over to Doinb. They're saying 5-point strike takes it. And there you go, topside set up. There's a Herald in hand for Tian to push it further.
That's the good call, right? You need to get your kills onto this assassin because Doinb is the focal point of this composition. I feel like him and Tian are the ones who need to be doing most of the work in these skirmishes. Lwx and Chris are going to be providing like support, sustain, a safety from the backline. Nuguri's the tank, but Tian and Doinb are going to be the duo divers doing the heavy lifting.
They are. Nuguri, please help Shelly. She got very busy. This is like, you know, your mum's in the kitchen, right? And a lot of stress going on. Help out your mothers, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. You know, finally gets the charge. Obviously, you don't want your mother beating down turrets, but at the end of the day, Nuguri's a good guy. So Shelly will get a second turret, or at least a second charge here. Tian hovering around the wings. They're going to kill Flandre again. The bullies have set up camp. Tian doesn't have his ultimate, but Doinb's right back in. Flash over the wall. Doinb can't follow that one up. Flandre will survive, but he's bringing the cavalry.
Ooh, nice shockwave.
He overstayed. Nuguri just overstayed there. a bit too far to try to take down the inner turret.
EDG right now are just, you know, solely doing a good job of staying in this by punishing the mistakes coming out from FPX. FPX do have a 1.3k gold lead, but this should equal out to a dragon for the side of EDG, as we already see Meiko and Jiejie heading over.
That'll go down pretty quickly as well. But Lwx gold, 1,000 in the lead for FPX. And I do like the response, but I think more so, I like that this early game has been full of shenanigans, as we expected after going through game 1. 7 kills, 11 minutes in. And both teams kind of going blow for blow, pound for pound. I think after it, though, we need to take stock that Scout is now 2-0 with a tier, with a 15 CS lead, while Doinb has a kill as well with the Hextech Alternator. So first items are coming on board, and there's a dragon apiece. So third dragon might be the kind of the blow-over point where teams test their might.
Oh, and Flandre might be picked off. He doesn't have flash.
Doesn't have
actually, he's fine. I'm totally wrong, Asterix, but the most interesting thing about Flandre to me right now is he's a Bomby Cinder. And honestly, when it comes to Flandre, I honestly have no idea what he's going to build. You know, we could see the Turbo Chem Tank come out. Sure. He could serve as a pseudo-initiator. I don't really expect the Frostfire Gauntlet because, to me, that's about being able to, like, once you find the engage, being able to stay and stick on your targets, which doesn't really seem like Flandre's own composition. We've seen Sunfire fall out of favor because of the price difference with the other two mythics, so, you know, maybe that one's doubtful. I think Turbo Chem Tank is where I will put my bets, but, again, it is Mr. Flandre. He is a unique man.
As Viper goes in on the bottom lane onto Lwx, eaten up but spat back out pretty devastatingly as Jiejie's ready to jump over the wall. He flashes with the Onslaught of Shadows with the dunk down from Nuguri. Nice little catch on the enemy jungler.
And the thing I like about what FPX are doing is just how disciplined they have been to sticking to their plans, sticking to their draft's win conditions, and just hammering it home. Again, EDG scale quite well. I don't think they're necessarily in a like horrible position coming out, but the fact that you do have this backline assassin that's going to put a ton of threat down, the fact that you do have Lwx and Chris pretty much just straight chilling in the bot lane, I do feel like there has to be a bit of pressure on EDG.
As that pressure is going to come from Nuguri just pushing in the turret. Lwx, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about this very elongated side lane. With turret plating still up and available, what is the next move for FPX that have a set that's just doing so well by himself, that's beating out Flandre, and with Doinb now with the Night Harvester, so solo lane's essentially in a good position?
The thing is, now for Nuguri is we wait because Jiejie...
Thanks. He's out.
Hits it.
Yeah, Tian just walks back to the Raptors, has to lose that. He is 30 CS up ahead in the jungle, which is massive. So Jiejie are going to be happy to get something back.
Yeah, they've done a good job of punishing around that top side, but going back to what FPX are able to do with this side lane, right, is Sett's not a champion who's going to push all the way up to inhibitor turret and be able to hit that one freely, so it's pretty much just about pushing up your top wave, stealing enemy Krugs, stealing enemy Raptors, constantly hovering around mid, and even if you don't make a gank on mid, right, just the lack of knowledge from Scout about where Nuguri is means he has to sit under his turret, he has to play more safely, and then Nuguri can start, you know, making more plays cross-map, linking up with his team, creating a numbers advantage for EDG to get their advantages from.
And that's why I love this build, because he's already got the Stride Breaker. It's Sett who, with the Q active, gets movement speed too. He is going for the Dead Man's Plate second. And the chase down is absolutely massive, as we talked about from this team in the pick and ban lyrics. So as another ulti comes out, and yeah, that's Tristana with a Kraken Slayer. we have to take note that Nuguri is going to be first come, first served. He is going to be the one going forward. And you talk about Scout being in a dangerous position when they don't see this set.
Oh, yeah. Scout does have flash.
And he has to worry about Tian. There's the shockwave. Brings in two, but he's destroyed. Doinb executes him. And that's like being hung, drawn, and quartered at the end of the day.
Yeah, just great use of Prio coming out from the side of FPX. We're seeing the set roam around as we expected. Flandre going to be able to trade a little bit back, but this should equal out to another Herald for the side of FPX to grow their gold lead. And honestly, Hysterics, I'm just happy that we're potentially getting another series that could go the distance like yesterday.
Yeah, because FPX is showing up so competitive in this game number 2. It's a 3K gold lead at 50 minutes. And look, you talked about Nuguri not pushing up towards the turret. He's here just to draw a bit of attention as, yep, he's too far away. He'll go and take away Krugs. And EDG have no control over this top side whatsoever.
No, they don't. But, you know, Nuguri going to be able to take away camps and deny Jiejie. So this is going to put Tian only further ahead, right? Less available gold for Jiejie on the map. Also, an update on the Gragas. We do see him going towards the Frostfire Gauntlet. Gragas did used to pick this up a few months ago, but again, I don't really see the potential value coming with this item with the way that FPX will be playing into you. I guess the hard thing is, you're behind, you wouldn't really be able to make use of Turbo Chem Tank either, and we already highlighted kind of the pitfalls of the Sunfire Aegis. So just going with the best choice he has available to be that beefy frontliner to try and shut down the side of FPX, but Winged Moonplates coming out for both Nuguri and Tian. They are both being speedy boys. We have the Night Harvester already picked up by Doinb. Feel like this is a rough one, Hysterics.
It is, but like, you know, in another way, I'm pretty happy that we've seen FPX bounce back, considering that game number 1 was about pulling the trigger on a Baron. Game number 2 has been about making these response plays and especially going towards that top side. So it is nice to see that FPX have fine-tuned themselves for the following game in this series. And EDG, now it's up to them to make a response. Viper's up in this top side. He will get the turret with where Jiejie and Meiko are. But look at bot. I mean, Doinb getting solo turret gold is exactly what you want when he's on a Seekers, when he's almost 2 items strong as a pretty big Akali in the mid game.
The thing is, you know, FPX are definitely doing everything right. They're doing their due diligence. They get the bot lane turret. They're threatening in mid. But I think EDG are also making the best play available to them, right? FPX is stronger than you right now. Avoid them. Go get gold on the opposite side of the map. Send the rest of the members to try to counteract this play by FPX. Nuguri!
Yeah, the stride breaker goes in. He's like, hey, come at me, bro. You know, that guy in the gym? He's looking at himself in the mirror. And he wants you to he wants to work out and he wants you to watch him. It feels like Nuguri's that kind of guy right now, almost towards that second item. And after that little confrontation, everyone backs off, but it is FPX once again who pick up the turret. And you mentioned the response of the top lane from Viper.
I just can't get over what? Who goes to the gym, looks at themselves in the mirror, and thinks, "Yeah, I want other people to watch me work out."
I don't know if it's just in Australia, but there's
Were you
always
one of those people?
No, dude. Have you seen my beer belly, bro? When we were traveling for 5 months, you and I ate a lot of food, and I didn't work out too much. You know this best. It's not something to be proud of. People will look at me and say, "Hey, great dad bod, Hysterics. Really great dad bod." I'm getting old.
Yeah. It does go pretty well with the beard, I'd say. But, you know, moving on from you and your life choices.
Okay.
Again, EDG made the best decision available, right? FPX are ahead. Avoid them when they're strong. Cut the map. Go trade for gold on the opposite side of the map. Try to get more gold onto the side of Viper. But Tian wrapping around. Looks like they are going to try and start contesting for the control bot side jungle. Doinb is also recalling now. So FPX definitely in a position where they can fight this.
And they're burning the TP. Tian's into the backline straight away. It's onto Scout. The Hecarim keeping 3 people busy while the rest of FPX are coming in red hot. Tian absorbs the damage. The shockwave doesn't do too much. Nuguri flies in, gets the 3-man face breaker. The boy at the gym broke the glass, Lyric, as Doinb and Nuguri on the chase. Viper wants to escape, but is Nuguri gonna let him? No way, Jose, as Chris has eaten dinner and EDG for dessert.
And it's been amazing to see Nuguri, like you said, finding a clutch engage. I like how Tian runs in first, kind of baits them all in, clubs them all up for Nuguri to just run in, shut them down. And there was that diving buddy in Doinb that we talked about. You get 4 kills. You're going to be able to turn this into a mid lane turret. You're going to deny more of Jiejie's jungle. He's not been getting to farm anything between Nuguri and Tian, taking away all his camps. And they're just pushing this advantage further to a 5k gold lead.
This is the FPX we wanted to show up. The early game is their oyster. I'm getting hungry for seafood after watching this play, Lyric, because Tian kept them so busy.
Yeah, he runs in, Dawning Shadows comes out, Crisp's clutch saves him in the end. Again, they're all clumped up now. We see the Showstopper come out, we see the Face Breaker to follow. Doinb's in there as well. Jiejie's kept at bay on the backline. Meiko's already low, and FPX just have an easy time cleaning this up.
I'm willing to say, this game number 2, Lyric, it's not top diff, it's raccoon diff this time around. Double kill over to Nuguri. 2, 2, and 3 as we're back to another fight. Meiko caught out, chilling Smite as he crashes down, but Tian follows over the wall. The fear's greatest. Now here he is yet again to punch on down. The One Punch Man grew some hair and a hell of a lot more abs. As the Everfrost good, the Shockwave as well to disengage. But look, Viper wishing he wasn't here. He rocket jumps, but it's to his death. 11-5, and this one's going to an even series.
That's the thing, right? FPX going to be able to turn this easily into a Baron. Flandre realizes, hey, there's really nothing I can do for you guys here. I'm going to keep pushing in bot lane and at least try to get some gold back on the map, try to deny FPX somewhere. But honestly, it doesn't matter at this point in the game. FPX are so far ahead. They are completely fine losing waves in EXP bot side to get this Baron. And guess what? Recalls are going to come out. Dragon's up in 30 seconds. FPX are going to be able to make their way down.
Give more ability haste towards those ultimates that are cleaning up the fights. Baron makes it about 6,000 gold, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if I had better math, I'd say 7,000. As we actually look at the fight again, we come out of a replay into another one where it's all on Meiko.
Yeah, just goes too far forward, trying to get some vision down. Tian easily able to follow up with the ultimate. Keeps running in. Jiejie also was pushing in that wave top side. FPX able to pick up some kills. Scout did go a utility route. He's not dealing as much damage had he gone for something like the Ludens or the Liandry's. I think he went this route because he did end up falling behind. Is able to escape in the end, but still FPX pick up one more kill, and here's that last dragon that we're talking about. They have waves pushing in mid, they have waves pushing in bot, and they're just going to try and force this one home through the bot side of the map.
And look at the mobility picked up. 2 items on every carry there. A bit of a delay on Lwx, but it might not matter, as with the Baron buff, the inner turret getting threatened. You talked about the waves mid. EDG had to pay respect and clear that away while FPX have already done with the turret. Lwx is going to pick up these souls. They're going to back away. And now you can see dotting the I's, crossing the T's means getting with mid-wave back in order.
I also just feel like EDG don't deal enough damage to deal with FPX anytime soon, right? We just highlighted the Everfrost route coming out from Scout. Sure, Viper's sitting on 2 items, but Flandre went tank this time around. You have tanks in your other 2 roles. You have a frontline in Nuguri and Tian. You have a ton of sustain coming out across all members. You have the Devour coming out from Crisp as well. So I think any fight, EDG really don't have any way of bursting out any member. You need to hope for someone from FPX to overextend, because when you are in a losing position like this, right, you do not really get to dictate where you get vision. You don't really get to dictate where the enemy gets to kind of ping pong between their lanes. So for EDG, this is just a reactionary game at this point in time.
Yeah, and just try and hold on for your dear life. Hold on to the base best you can. That'll rely on the top and mid wave getting crashed in, at least surviving at the inhibitor turret. But looks like FPX are already done with this Baron. 55 seconds in. They've gotten use out of it. I'm going to move my little hysteric speaking thing to show you that it's been about 2,500. So not the biggest Baron play, but still, the game was already significantly feeling like it was over. And we just got to put the final touches on from FPX's side. So see if EDG can delay it, Lyric, but that's me being hopeful when FPX have so much control.
For FPX, the thing we have to notice, though, they don't really have like great sieging potential or the ability to break the base well, right? Because I mean, they have a Senna for their AD carry. Everyone else is a melee champion. You do have a lot of wave clear coming out from the side of EDG with Orianna and Tristana. So for FPX, it's going to be about finding these picks, controlling and denying vision into EDG's jungle, and then trying to bait them out into neutral objectives where, you know, they'll have to come out of their base either for maybe Soul or Elder or a Baron. That's when you find those kills. That's when you turn those into the inhibitor turrets.
That's when you can really abuse the lack of vision and show that nowhere's safe. I think Akali loves that the most, right? I guess Sett as well.
You know, it's kind of funny that we're even talking about lack of vision, because even though that is like right in a traditional sense, FPX are also just so far ahead, right? It doesn't even matter. Like, I think EDG can have vision, and it's like they can see everything you're going to do, and FPX will still be able to do it.
That's right. You know, the movement speed we already talked about, it is one thing as well, but the gap closed from the main carry in Doinb is something else. As Scout could be in a bit of trouble. Nuguri running towards him as his top wave is next to be pushed in, and he'll do it fast. Lyric, look at bot, look at mid. All waves in order. EDG have to pick one.
My big question is, will EDG give up Soul? Because I don't think EDG are going to be at a point where they're able to contest Soul. I think you could rationalize an argument where, hey, we give up Soul, we try to buy more time, maybe we fight them at Elder. Even with Baron, I'm not quite sure if they'll be able to break down the base. I think they will be able to, because they should be able to threaten dives. But realistically, I feel like the only objective that like hard will lose EDG the game at that instant is Elder. So I want to see when EDG are going to decide they need to contest FPX.
Because they're doing a good job of holding on. I like that you brought up the sieging point, because you're exactly right. Like, EDG have good wave clear here with the Tristana, with Scout on the Orianna as well. They've held on to their base through the Baron push, and I was expecting it to be more devastating from FPX, but that point kind of rings true. But at the very least, around these objectives, let's see what happens. FPX Tian is standing on a ward right now, so EDG not walking towards that side of the jungle as wave time number 4 for the push in the bottom wave. And 45 seconds towards the Soul you were talking about before.
Yeah, going back to your last point, right? EDG are just being respectful. I don't think it even matters if Tian was showing on that ward. I don't think EDG would have really pushed out that wave without 5 members being there, as we see now. EDG are being very respectful. They are doing their due diligence. There's no straggler in the side lane trying to path greedily through their jungle. They are just backing off. They are respecting. And as we see this now, it makes me believe that EDG probably will just give up Soul.
And they're moving away from it. Jiejie being in the top side shows us that. The game goes on for a little bit longer. But yeah.
We love to see it.
We do, don't we? Because it means that Elder will be the defining moment. It means that the next Baron will come up as well. See if EDG want to contest that, or if they're not worried about FPX, you know, again, sieging the base that you told me there was a lack thereof.
That's the thing, is they do have to worry about Baron more than Soul in my mind, because that is when I do believe FPX should be able to push out all 3 lanes, hover towards one, and use some cannons to break down an inhibitor turret. We can see that EDG realize this. They already have Jiejie waiting in a flanking position, and they probably do want to contest this one. I don't have bears in Australia, or at least I don't think we do. We have drop bears, but look, that bear is hibernating. He's waiting for someone to walk into the lair or an angle to play through. Doinb TPs to the top lane, and Jiejie, the camera's going to go there in a second, Lyric. Just wait. We know that we're going to spot Jiejie. Bear's still hibernating. There he is. But no one knows. Yeah, he's... Again, the funny thing is, I wonder if FPX care. FPX are going to start this. Maybe Jiejie can come in from behind, use the ultimate, get in there, and try to find a steal. We've been seeing a ton of steals throughout our playoffs, but what member is he realistically able to get on top of and burst down?
Let's see, because...
Oh, Mike, he's still going.
Oh, but Tian's going for the fight now. And Jiejie's like, help, we need backup. Tian will die, though, which is a great start for Nuguri. With the 2-man face breaker means Meiko is going to bite the dirt in a second. Haymaker secures it to him. He goes in. There we go. Shockwave pulls him in, though, as he disengages in the explosive cast. Jiejie now spotted out with the assassin over the wall. Pops him and waiting for the shuriken flip. Will the second channel come through? The answer's no, but they pull off of the Baron, and for EDG, it is an even trade.
I'm actually surprised that they were able to take out Tian, right? Because we didn't see Scout use Shockwave to bring him down. Viper didn't really use anything either. It just seemed like went in. Maybe that's who Flandre used his explosive cask on, got him out of position, just knocked between 4 members, and, you know, Viper's autos and Scout's combos were enough. But he's a very tanky boy right now, as we see him sitting on Dead Man's Plate on top of the on top of the Turbo Chem tank. There it is, but we're going to see the replay of how it all starts. Tian zooming in quickly, tries to get onto Viper, goes onto Meiko, just gets locked down and brought down. Like you said, good Everfrost coming out from Scout. Nuguri follows it up, uses the Haymaker, takes down Meiko. They're not able to follow up on the exchange, despite the fact that Doinb was able to get his E onto Jiejie.
And it is an AK gold lead, but this game is going on ever so long. FPX, as my voice breaks like a 12-year-old, says, okay, enough. We're going to go on to the Baron with 5 members on it. Look, this is going down super fast. Look, Jiejie's nowhere nearby. 3K, 2K, 1.5, Jiejie over the wall. No steal this time. It's Tian who secures it, and the bear was close as he finally comes out of hibernation.
And this is going to be FPX's chance, right? You have a 5v4 on the map, you have Baron, you can push down probably 2 of these inhibitors. You can even probably try to threaten at least an end, put EDG into a position where maybe they feel the need to fight you and try to pick up the rest of those kills that you're looking for.
Okay, run it through mid, look at the death timer onto Jiejie, now the tempo begins. Onto Flandre, that's a good little setup with the body slam, but over the wall, that's a pick there. The lightning, or whatever that thing is from Senna, a bit of light lyric. As it's dark there for Jiejie, it's dark for Viper, and now Meiko. Everything falling down, and you know, that may not be the cleanest call, but this will be a clean ending.
Yep, we're going to see Nuguri TP, and they should be able to close this one out nicely, and it's great to see these two teams fighting back against each other once again.
Finally, we get them showing up. FPX bring it back, 30-minute game here. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, a series is exactly what we have here for our upper bracket semi-final.
That's the thing, is we got to see this matchup last year in playoffs, if you remember, in 2020 spring. You and Dagda were the ones casting it. I remember it quite vividly. FPX at the time were the ones to come out on top, and EDG, very commanding and dominant game 1 win. We saw a bit of back and forth this time around. EDG were actually doing a nice job of counteracting FPX's plays early on, but still, great discipline, like great way to stick to your win condition. You realize, hey, what our comp does. It is extremely annoying. You have Senna, Tahm, Kench in the bot lane to neutralize whatever the enemy does, and you have a much harder winning top side of the map. And FPX just kind of pushed that as far as it can go and brought the game home.
And we know why it started in that direction, right? We know exactly why FPX got off to, you know, rolling thunder as if it were. Viper in the bottom lane hit 2, pressed rocket jump in, you know, a very dangerous proximity, and level 1 Tahm Kench plus Lwx let him have it.
Well, let's remember that after that did happen, right? EDG went topside, they counteract FPX's plays, they picked up 2 kills, they went bot, they picked up 2 more kills on bot side once Meiko and Jiejie went in. I think it was 4-1 at that point in the game with the 1 kill they did get onto Viper. But from there, after that, FPX just realized, hey, Tian just camping top, roaming mid, Doinb's getting unlocked. They're constantly putting this pressure onto Flandre. They were able to pick up multiple Heralds. And there was just that one team fight that sticks in my mind where Tian goes in, he buys a lot of time, he clumps them all up, Chris brings them out, Nuguri and Doinb know that that's the call to just go in.
Yeah, that was keeping 3 people busy while everyone from FPX collapsed on in, and I just love the angles to be played with this team fight as well, Eric. I love the fact that Doinb on the Akali may have raised some concerns not being something like the Kled, something like even the Sett mid or the Renekton that we're used to.
He was 1-4 on this champion.
The high skill cap champion, now 2-5. 2-4. Sorry, excuse me. I can't do math today. It feels like, you know, Doinb was high impact, but set up well by Nuguri, by Tian. This was a great top lane game, just to talk about the laning phase and how much bullying was going on in the schoolyard up there.
It also felt like a much better game for the Sett pick overall, right?
Yes.
He not only had the ability for his mid laner to come impact his matchup and push out as far as it can go, but they also had all those frontliners that we talked about and more diving buddies for that Sett to be useful this time around than they did in game 1.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, you know, once we get towards 1-2 items there with the Sett Hecarim 2, we saw the impact of fights where there's so much chase potential that if you're EDG, you have to stay in. Even as a Tristana, even as an Orianna, once you're in that fight, you have to commit because you do not run away. You do not outrun, rather, the composition of FPX. And that's what was so much fun to watch it. And I think FPX kind of found that breath of fresh air through the draft and through that early game that we didn't see in game number 1.
I do want to say I love the 200 IQ hibernation strat, you know, that EDG were trying to pull out. It didn't work out in the end. I guess they did get a 1-for-1, so maybe in your mind that actually counts as a win, though. I guess he had nothing to do with that working out. Sure. But yeah, we've seen some interesting things thus far. We've seen champion diversity on both sides. It is really interesting to me that Nuguri keeps going back towards his set pick. And I think a big question mark is that, remember, Flandre last pick, I guess he didn't necessarily know which matchup he was going into, right? But once again, defaulted back to this Gragas.
Yeah, the Gragas pick has been, you know, contested in the LPL. I think we've seen 369 pick it up a couple of times out of top esports. Hasn't been too successful, but some of our top teams, as part of the engage, has always kind of found a way. I think the thing we touch on before we go to break is the fact that, you know, we are not getting the quality of series, in my opinion, that we saw earlier in the tournament. We are getting a bit of back and forth. We are getting FPX and EDG individually showing up. That's exactly what we wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, game 2 done and dusted. We have a series on our hand, so we're going to throw you to a break, and when we return, a game 3 at even footing.